like a fresh out of the gold mine kind of gold. I feel like it's the sort of perfect kind of portable pillow. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've been looking online recently and I've seen a number of designer bags that I really like the look of that were kind of out of my budget. So I figured for this video I'd do a designer dupe haul / review, just showing you guys some high street alternatives to some classic designer pieces. Now I got quite a number of them and I have no intention of keeping them all, but I just wanted to show you guys like what range is out there in terms of price point. So let's get started. So starting off with cream coloured bags, I've got this absolute beauty to show you. So this is the Carvela Bailey bag in stone and I picked this up from Shoeholics. This was I think £32.20, which is an absolute bargain for this bag because I think full price it was like £89. It's a really sort of lovely faux leather finish. It's got the sort of classic Chanel style quilting at the front. Obviously I think Chanel bags the quilting is a lot smaller, but it's definitely got that sort of designer-esque touch that I think I was really sort of going for in terms of this haul. In terms of most Chanel bags, I think they actually come with a sort of twist and turn clasp at the front. This one is slightly different. So it's got the sort of gold hardware at the front and then it's got these little sort of like square studs, which I think are really cute. And then it actually unfastens with a little sort of popper button and that is how you open it up. So inside you've got two sort of big compartments. It comes with a dust bag, which I was really surprised by, but also really happy with. And then you've also got one sort of non-zipping pocket at the front. So you could probably pop like your phone or maybe your purse or your keys or something in there. So this is a super gorgeous bag. Like I was really impressed with the quality, especially for the price. Like I said, I know it was £89 before, but in terms of the £32.20 price point, this is an absolute steal. I think even at £89, I might not have necessarily paid that much for it just because I'm not that girl that splashes out money like that. But I do definitely think it's actually worth that kind of price. Now, in terms of things I love about it, first of all, the attention to detail is absolutely beautiful. So it's lined with this sort of like black satin fabric on the inside, and it's got these little like C's sort of like not embroidered but kind of like printed onto the fabric, so you've got the sort of Carvela branding inside the bag as well, which I think is really lovely. I also just think it's like the perfect size. Like I'm more of like an oversized bag kind of girl when it comes to designer-esque pieces because I think it just adds this really sort of cool kind of high fashion like over the top kind of element. And in my head I have this little fantasy where like I'm out for the day and I get a bit tired, and because it is so like pillowy and cushiony, I sort of take a few things out of it, put something soft inside and have a little sort of nap because I feel like it's the sort of perfect kind of portable pillow kind of size. That's probably just me being weird, but that's one of the things that I really loved about it as well. Now there are a few things that I don't really like about this. For starters, it's got this gold bar on the top and that is how the sort of chain strap, the shoulder strap, is sort of fastened onto the front. And I don't know what it is about it, but something about it I just think makes it look really cheap. I think it would have looked better if, like some of the bags that I'm going to show you later, they'd put two sort of eyelets here and then you could attach the bag through it. Because another thing that is a downside about this kind of strap is that first of all, I put it on and it was way too long. Now bearing in mind the fact that I'm 6 foot, like it's very rare that bag is too long. And secondly, it kind of fastens up like a belt. So it's got these little sort of holes and then it's got a buckle just here and you can sort of like tighten it or loosen it as much as you want. The shortest hole is, in my opinion, still too long. Just because in terms of shoulder bags, I like them to sort of sit kind of, I'd say, around my mid-waist area, and this strap is just too long for it to be the perfect length for me. However, overall, I do really love this bag. For £32.20, I really think you can't go wrong. It all just boils down to whether I think I can get past this weird gold bar and the too long strap. I think it's one of those things that I could probably do something with it, but yeah, I'll have to decide. My phone's ringing, so just ignore that. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. The second cream bag that I picked up is this one. It's the Charles & Keith cream twisted lock clutch bag in ivory. That was a bit of a mouthful to say and I couldn't really remember what it was called, but I think we just about got there. I think this one has more of like a sort of classic Chanel-esque vibe. Obviously the quilting is a lot smaller. It's got this beautiful sort of chain strap detail at the front, which you can kind of use as kind of decorative, just like it is now, or you could also use it as a little sort of, I guess, carry strap. This was £62.10. I used a 10% discount code and I bought from Charles & Keith before, but this is the first time like I bought stuff that I seriously considered keeping, because I think the last thing that I bought, it was a case of really nice on the website but really ugly in person. This one I can say actually lived up to expectations. As the name suggests, like a classic sort of Chanel bag, this one you've got the twist and turn sort of clasp, so it opens up like that at the front. And then one thing that I thought was really cool is that it also has like a secondary flap inside, which is perfect because it kind of keeps your items more secure. Now when you open this up, and this actually opens up with a popper button, inside you have, again, like with the previous one, you've got a little grey dust bag, so that looks like this. And then you've also got one sort of big compartment inside, one sort of smaller one, which is kind of on the outside of the bag. And then you've got another thing that I thought was really cool, which is it's got three little sort of card slots, so you can put in stuff like bank cards or maybe like a business card or something similar. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that it's also got this detachable strap, which I really love, because I sometimes like to hold my bag as a clutch, or sometimes I like to hold it on my shoulder. So like that, you've got the option to do that. Like the one that I just showed you, this is also adjustable, so it's got that sort of belt buckle style. And the way that this sort of goes in is you've got these two little eyelets on the top of the bag, here and here, and it's kind of like a T-bar sort of thing, so you kind of slip the little T-bar through either hole, and that's how it stays in place. In terms of this bag, there's not really much that I can fault about it. I really love the attention to detail. One of my favourite features, which I mentioned earlier, was the card slots. Like, it's not every day that you want to go out and necessarily carry a purse or like a card holder, so I love the fact that they took that into consideration and kind of like built that into the bag design. And it's one of those bags that I think, which rarely for high street, I guess, or accessories, they've kind of considered the style and the substance. So in terms of the design, it looks absolutely beautiful, it looks very sort of Chanel-esque, but they've also considered things like the security. In terms of cons, I can't really fault it that much, but there are a couple of things that would change. So one thing is I would probably have liked it a little bit bigger, but that's just sort of personal preference. Like I said to you before, I'm more of like an oversized bag kind of girl. And also, I don't know what it is. I can't tell you that it's like super shiny or cheap looking, because that would be an absolute lie. But there's something about it, I think it might be the finish in combination with the colour, that kind of has this ever so slightly shiny finish that I don't really like. I would have liked it to be a little bit more matte, so that's one thing that I would change. However, that is just me being really picky. If I had to score this out of 10, I'd give it an 8.5. I do think, despite the weird gold bar on the previous one, I do prefer that one a little bit more. Maybe it's kind of the fact that it's also half the price speaking, but I think I'm more inclined to keep that one. I might not end up keeping either of them, but I will link this one for you guys in the description and let me know your thoughts on it below. Moving on to black bags, I picked up this one from Mango. So this is just like a little quilted bag, well, quite a big quilted bag in a sort of faux leather finish. This was $17.99 and I picked it up from the Mango outlet website. Similar to the previous cream one that I just showed you, it's got the sort of chunky, decorative or also functional sort of top chain here, which I think is very like reminiscent of Chanel, and it's also got like a longer sort of strap, so you can carry it as a kind of crossbody bag or just a shoulder bag if you wanted to as well. So this one has quite an unusual sort of closure. You kind of like push up the bottom and then it releases the catch, and then you can open it like that, and then inside you've got like one big compartment and then one sort of small pocket which doesn't zip up, and it's lined in a sort of like a sort of black kind of twill fabric, so it's not like the shiny satin, but I think, to be fair, the lining fabric does feel quite nice quality. This is kind of growing on me like the more that I look at it, but I'll be honest with you, when I got it out of the packaging I was really disappointed. I think partially because it didn't come stuffed and it just looked really sort of like sad and flat, but the more I look at it, especially like on camera, the nicer it does look. I don't think this one looks quite as Chanel-y as like maybe the last one that I just showed you, because I think the sort of quilting is kind of the wrong sort of shape. So it does have the quilting, which is kind of like Chanel, but I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like they're not quite squares, they're more like rhombuses, and it makes it look less like a sort of conventional Chanel bag, and I was definitely going for the Chanel look with this. Another thing that I wasn't so keen on about this is the sort of finish. Now, I think it's showing up worse than it is in real life on camera, but it's kind of very, very shiny. I think generally speaking, if you're going for a faux leather, the less shiny it is, the more expensive it will look. And this one, I can't really be that mad because it was only $17.99, but it definitely looks like it was only $17.99, if you see what I mean. Another thing I really didn't like is the clasp. Like, if you're out sort of shopping and you were trying to like sort of undo it with one hand, I think it would become very annoying very quickly. The only thing that I really love about this, honestly, is like the little chain strap. I think that's very cute. But if I had to rate this out of 10, I would give it a 4.5, purely because I just do think it looks very, very cheap. If you're looking for bags that you can kind of wear a few times and, you know, not necessarily have for years and years and years, then this I don't think is necessarily a bad option. But if you're like me and you're kind of looking for investment pieces, I don't think this is one of those. The price point alone should tell you that, but yeah, just looking at the quality as well, I would say this one is a strong no. This one is out of stock, thank goodness, because I don't think I'd recommend it to anyone. But I did find a very similar one on the Mango website. I think it was about double the price, and I'm hoping that with it being double the price, it will also be double the quality. So I'll link that one for you guys in the description as well. So next up is another black beauty, and this is the Aldo Aloha bag in black, and it's very similar to the previous one, I would say. So it's got like the sort of quilted detailing, it's got the sort of, I think this one is a twist and turn clasp at the front, so that's different. And then it's also got this really lovely sort of like very Chanel-esque strap. So the two that I think I showed you previously kind of just have a little bit of a chain detail, but this is one of those ones where it's got like the sort of faux leather kind of threaded through the chain, and I think that just gives it a little bit of an extra something if you're looking for that kind of like Chanel-y kind of vibe. So this one was $23.20 and I picked it up from Shoeholics as well. In terms of the shape, I think it is a little bit more structured than the one that I just showed you. Again, it's got the sort of twist and turn clasp at the front, and then you open it up and it's got two big compartments inside, and you've also got like a little zip compartment in there, as well as two other compartments here for I think like a phone or maybe like some makeup. And on the back you've also got this zip pocket. This one is a great size for like, I guess anything really. If it were me, I'd probably keep snacks and stuff in here just for easy access, but you could keep literally anything, obviously anything that would fit in here, and I think that's just really handy to have, because it's not necessarily every time that you just want to like have to open up your whole bag and like root it around inside. Things that I don't like as much about this, I would say it's nice quality, but again, I wouldn't say it's amazing quality, so I don't think it would last you up to 10 years, for example. I was looking at some reviews on Amazon, and some people had said like the sort of gold hardware had changed colour after just a few uses, and yeah, I'm not saying I expect it to last forever, but if it's changing colour just after a few uses, I think that is like a testament to the quality. Overall though, I would say it's a really beautiful bag. If I had to score out of 10, I would give it 6.5. I'm kind of in two minds about keeping this. For $23.20, I feel like I can't go wrong, but I was looking for more of like an investment piece, and I don't think this is one of those. So I'm thinking I might send this one back as well, because I think if I did keep it, I'd definitely be settling, and I kind of think like maybe I should just continue my search for the perfect like quilted Chanel dupe in black. So last of the black beauties, but certainly no way least, is this one, and this is the Charles & Keith twist lock clutch, and this one is in black, so it's exactly the same as the ivory one that I showed you previously, so I'm not going to spend too much time going into detail. So this one has got the sort of Chanel quilting again. It's got the sort of classic sort of functional but also decorative strap at the top. Inside, I won't show it to you because I've shown it to you previously, but it's got the long T-bar strap as well. One thing that I forgot to mention though when I showed you the ivory one is that unlike the first cream bag that I showed you, so the Carvela Bailey, the gold hardware on the Charles & Keith ones is kind of like more of a sort of dark, not quite a matte gold, but like a more matte gold. And I think something about this sort of finish gives me more Chanel vibes, but I think the other one is equally as beautiful. Like, I don't think one is better than the other really, it just depends on what sort of finish you're after. Like the ivory one, it's got absolutely amazing attention to detail, the quality is beautiful. In terms of cons though, again, like the cream one, or the ivory one rather, there's something about the finish I just don't quite like. I feel like the black should kind of absorb the light, but it's kind of having the opposite effect. Also, this is a faux leather, and I've kind of realised based on buying the 3 black bags that I bought to show you, I'm thinking I'd like sort of like a faux suede or even like a velvet kind of finish. I think this is just a bit too kind of like biker jacket vibe for me. So not that there's anything wrong with it, it's absolutely beautiful. Based on the fact that this is slightly less shiny than the white one, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. But I just don't think for me it was what I was looking for, so I think I'll be sending this one back as well. Moving on to our final colourway, I've got some Camel bags to show you, and the first one that I picked up is this lovely one from New Look. So it's just like a classic sort of medium-sized crossbody bag. Again, it's got the sort of classic quilted detailing. Where the stitching is to make the quilting, it's got like sort of doubled stitching, so rather than just like one line of stitches making the sort of little square shapes, it's got 2. Similarly to a classic Chanel bag, it's got the twist and lock opening, but unlike the Chanel ones, this one is a sort of oval shape, and I thought that was just really unusual and really cool. So you open this one up, and inside you've just got the one compartment, and then you've got one sort of zip pocket in the inside, again for you to put something like your phone or your keys or something similar. Now in terms of the lining fabric, this one is finished with a lovely sort of camel coloured twill, which goes really nicely with the exterior of the bag. And with the strap, you've just got the one strap on this one. So this one sort of is fixed onto the bag with a kind of like horseshoe shaped rivet. So things that I like about this one, obviously it's really affordable at $17.99. I think I also used a 20% off discount code to like kind of bring the price down further. It's a really sort of lovely true camel colour, like a really light sort of warm camel, which is exactly what I was going for. This one I have to say is like the worst of the bunch in terms of quality. There's something about the sort of faux leather that's very sort of like almost cardboard like. It doesn't feel very nice in your hand. I think the quality of the faux leather is very much reflected in the price point, and as well as the sort of like horrible cardboardy effect that it's got on it, it's also got this kind of like wrinkly kind of finish, which I just, yeah, really didn't like at all. One good thing that I did forget to mention though is that you can kind of slide up the strap so that you can wear it doubled, or you can wear it sort of similarly like that. So like one of the ones that I showed you previously, you've kind of got the option to wear it kind of like as a kind of crossbody bag, or you could just have it on your shoulder, which is a really sort of versatile way to wear it. I know I said it was the worst out of the bunch, however, I would give give it a 5 out of 10. Purely because one thing I forgot to mention is that it's got these little sort of like poppers on the side just here, and when you close the bag you sort of pop them together, and that just keeps your belongings a bit more secure and kind of helps the bag hold its shape. I also think the oval shaped sort of twist clasp detail is really lovely. If you're looking for something that you can maybe like wear a few times for like a few sort of days or nights out, then I think this is a definite option for you. But if you're looking for something that's got a bit more longevity, then I don't think this is for you. And based on that, I think I'm going to be sending this one back as well, but I'll link it for you guys in the description if you'd like to get it. So the second Camel cutie is the Aldo Aloha bag, and on the website it says it's pink, but as you can see it's really not. I don't know which blind Bartimaeus was doing the listing. This one, like the black one that I showed you earlier, was $23.20, which I think is a great price. I won't go again into too much detail because I don't want to repeat myself. I'm just going to point out a few differences between this one and the black one. So the first major difference is that the hardware on this one is this really sort of gorgeous, I don't know what to call it, it's not rose gold, it's like the most gorgeous like dark gold you've ever seen basically. It kind of looks like a sort of 24 karat like deep gold that would kind of age really well. But obviously like at $23.20 it's not 24 karat gold, it just kind of looks like it. So things that I love about this one, I'd probably have to say the attention to detail. So like the black one, I think I forgot to mention this earlier, but it's got like the sort of Aldo branding on the eyelets just here, and then you've got like the same where the clasp sort of fastens up just here as well, and I think that just kind of like adds a little bit more of like a designer element. I think there's something about like the contrast of the strap and the gold of this one that I just think makes it even more stunning. So again, you've got the option to kind of wear it doubled up like this, so you can kind of like put it down so it's like a shoulder bag, and I just think this one is absolutely beautiful. Looking at it, there wasn't really anything that I didn't like, but I don't know if it's because of the kind of gold that it is. Where I sort of twisted the clasp to kind of open it up, I can already see that like it's kind of already getting scratched, and I can predict that like after a few uses it would kind of start going silver. So if I had to score this out of 10, I would give it a 7.5, purely because I do think the finishing with the hardware lets it down a little bit. I don't really want to buy a bag that I'm going to use a few times and then it's looking too tatty to use again. So with a heavy heart, I'm going to send this one back as well. So the final Camel bag that I have to show you guys is probably my favourite one out of the entire haul, and this is the Charles & Keith clutch that I've shown you in the ivory and the black, but obviously this one is in a beautiful, perfect, warm camel. There's literally nothing about this bag that I don't love. Like, I'm just, she's just so beautiful, guys. Like, I just can't get over how like beautiful this bag is. The attention to detail, the perfect sort of warm camel colour, the colour of the gold I think is ever so slightly different to the black and the ivory ones that I showed you, like a sort of soft gold, and it doesn't look quite as burnished, so it looks like sort of like a fresh out of the gold mine kind of gold. I don't even know what I'm saying. Again, like it's Black and Ivory sisters, this comes with a dust bag, it's got the T-strap chain inside, and it's got the card slots. This, when I bought it, I kind of had it in mind as like a sort of bag that I could use for work, or bag that I could use for kind of like, I guess like daytime sort of occasions or like evening occasions. And I think for like an evening occasion it would look really lovely paired with something like maybe like a knitted midi dress and a pair of like heels or like sandals and a sort of complementary like colour palette. Like I've said before, this bag I'm absolutely in love with. If I had to score it out of 10, I would give it a 9.5. I don't think I could quite give it a 10 just because, like I said to you before, it could have been ever so slightly bigger, but that is just me being picky. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking after this one. She is like the queen of my entire bag collection. I'll be keeping her in my dust bag, which is provided for free with it, and I'll link her for you in the description as well. So I know I said this was a bag haul, and technically speaking it is, but I do actually have one more thing to show you which I'm super excited about, and it's this beautiful pair of little like slingback pumps which I picked up from New Look. So these are like a direct dupe of those like Chanel slingbacks that I'm sure like everybody knows and loves. I wanted a pair of these for absolutely ages. Obviously they've been trending for like a really long time. I kept seeing them everywhere, but like either they were out of stock or they were leather, and I'm like a veggie for ethical reasons, so like I didn't really want a leather pair. So when I saw these from New Look and also saw that they were part of their vegan section, like I almost screamed with excitement. Now as I'm getting older, I'm also considering things like comfort as well as style, and I have to say these are ridiculously comfortable. Not only do they have like a really sort of low heel, which I think is great for like sort of everyday wear or like long sort of long-term wear, but they've also got this really sort of like cushiony insole. Another thing that I think makes them even more comfortable is the fact that they've got like an almond toe. Pointed toe shoes are very sort of like classic and they're very stylish, but I don't think it's necessarily a good thing for you to be like squishing your toes up in like a triangle shaped toe box all the time. So these ones are more of like a shape that allows your sort of natural foot to relax in the position that it's in, and I think that just makes them like the ultimate comfortable shoe. Another thing to note about these is that the faux leather is absolutely like beautiful quality. I've got some faux leather shoes in my collection that they're kind of that faux leather where it kind of like pinches and rubs your toes and it's really uncomfortable, especially if you're wearing them for longer periods of time. Obviously I haven't worn these out yet, so I can't tell you what they're like in terms of wearing them for longer time periods, but I did try them on. I sort of walked around like my room in them and they felt really lovely to wear, I have to say. I'm not sure if the Chanel ones actually look like this, but they've got this sort of like, I think it's called like a dorset detail. What I mean is that it doesn't sort of cover your whole foot in the same way that like this side of the shoe does. Like you've got this little sort of dipped, exposed bit of like foot arch, I guess you could call it. We'll go with that. Now, things I don't like about them. When I looked at them on the website, I have to say the camel colour looked a lot lighter than it is in real life. I was kind of hoping that they'd go with the bag that I just showed you, and they're a little bit too dark. But I feel like just because of the price point, and also because it's not like you're going to be like holding the bag and shoes right next to each other, you can't really tell unless you were looking. For $25.99, I really don't think you can go wrong. I used a 20% off discount code to make them even more affordable. So if you did want to pick these ones up, then you're going to have to just basically go on the link, which I'll put in the description for you guys, and just keep checking, because that's what I did. I'm going to give these a solid 9.5 out of 10. Might even give them a 9.7. I think they're absolutely beautiful, gorgeously perfect Chanel dupe, super comfortable, so style and substance. I've also got like a load of other things in my wardrobe that I think they just complement really well. Yeah, I'm in love with these and I'm definitely keeping them, and like I said before, I'll link them for you guys in the description as well. So that was all the gorgeous designer dupes I had to show you guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and that I managed to show you guys that some really sort of great designer-esque pieces on the high street that are really affordable and stylish if you know where to look. If so, then please like this video, comment letting me know which was your favourite piece, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. Also follow me on Instagram and head over to my blog shewalkstour.co.uk, where I post all things style and substance. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Are you feeling good tonight? This thing got me thinking of life.